Hello and welcome to the Tuesday, December 17th, 2019 edition of Tesla Daily, unofficial Tesla podcast. My name is Rob Maurer. We don't honestly have that much to talk about. This is one of the quietest news days in a long time that I remember for Tesla, as evidenced by the fact that the top two posts on the Tesla investor subreddit for today are about a Tesla energy project in Alaska that we already discussed on the December 10th episode. So if you want more news on that, go check that episode out. And then the second post is a 5-day-old article about an elevator supplier that hopes to do business with Tesla for Gigafactory 4. I'm saying that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. They do other things than just elevators, but these are certainly not earth-shattering stories for today. Tesla stock and the macro environment both pretty uninspired today as well, with Tesla finishing down 0.7% to $378.99, with the Nasdaq finishing up 0.1% on one of the flattest trading graphs that I have seen. The variance from peak to valley for the Nasdaq for the day was only about 0.25%, and that was really in the first hour. After that, pretty much straight across, just like the S&P 500 and pretty much for the Dow as well. The only other major news that got some attention today was some emails that Tesla sent out to some owners in Europe, and I believe this is mostly old news too because it has to do with Autopilot functionality in Europe due to some regulations. I'm seeing some conflicting reaction to this online, so we'll talk about that in a second, but first let me just read this email in a translated form. Quote, "Our latest software update introduces changes to some Autopilot features that will affect how they operate on your Model S. These changes are required to meet European regulations and only affect some Model S and Model X cars, as most Teslas with Autopilot already have this functionality. We are disappointed with the requirements regulators have chosen to impose, limiting the effectiveness of these features, and will continue to advocate that full functionality be restored. These changes place limitations on some features that you're familiar with, so we've prepared a summary of updates to ensure you understand what is expected when using Autopilot. Auto lane change will be restricted for use on divided roads with 2 or more lanes of traffic in either direction. Once auto lane change is activated and the indicator is turned on, your car will wait a minimum of 1.5 seconds before starting the lane change, and will wait up to 5 seconds before canceling if the lane change has not been able to start. The limit of how far the steering wheel can turn while using auto steer is reduced and can affect your car's ability to maneuver curves or stay within its lane, requiring you to take action. Summon will require that you be within 6 meters of your car's location to operate. You'll receive a reminder to hold the steering wheel if it does not detect your hands on the wheel for 15 seconds. You can also reference these changes in the release notes from your touchscreen by tapping the Tesla T and selecting Release Notes. Thank you for being a Tesla owner." End quote. So again, I've seen some conflicting reaction, but my understanding was that all of this stuff applied before, so I'm not sure exactly why this email is going out. As it says in this email, it's only affecting some Model S and X cars because, quote, most Teslas with Autopilot already have this functionality, end quote. So I'm a bit confused here, and I wish I could give a better report on this, but I did want to at least mention it. I don't believe that any regulations have changed, so perhaps in some instances this is just Tesla correcting some vehicles that maybe were not being compliant with those regulations before. If I had to, that's what I would guess. And that's really it for today. I'm sorry it's such a short episode, but we've got a lot of excitement to look forward to. There's less than 10 trading days now until we're likely to get the release of the Q4 delivery numbers, and that'll definitely give us a lot to talk about. So, as always, thank you for listening. If you do have questions or feedback, you can send those to me at tesladailypodcast@gmail.com. Also on Twitter at TeslaPodcast. And if you want to support the podcast, you can learn more about doing that at patreon.com/TeslaDailyPodcast. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for the Wednesday, December 18th episode of Tesla Daily. Thank you.